Plus, the Supreme Court is hearing back-to-back oral arguments that could reshape online speech.
And in sports, we see which TVC basketball teams are still alive in the playoffs. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening, I'm Brenna Nye.
And I'm Olivia Roman. Welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. Norfolk Southern officials say they are working with Ohio environmental and health agencies to respond to the environmental impact caused by the train derailment in East Palestine.
John Lornick reports.
Just over 2 weeks have passed since a Norfolk Southern train derailed and dumped toxic materials near East Palestine, Ohio, but the aftermath lingers on.
Watch what happens when they disturb the waterbed. Look at these chemicals. Look at those colors. These chemicals, and it has kind of a butane smell to it.
On Sunday, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg sent a letter to Norfolk Southern CEO Alan Shaw demanding accountability, adding that the people of East Palestine cannot be forgotten, nor can their pain be simply considered the cost of doing business.
We worked with the Ohio EPA on safe operations and safety for the community.
Norfolk Southern CEO Alan Shaw also says all air and municipal water tests have come back clean, but some people should still drink bottled water.
Private well testing, we need to continue to monitor and test the wells and wait for those test results to come back.
Some residents say they are suffering from ailments like headaches and sore throats since the derailment.
After those symptoms, I also noticed that I have this rash on my arm that was not there before I came here.
Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown says he understands why people in the affected areas are skeptical and concerned.
They know that corporate lobbyists have had far too much influence in our government, and they see this as the result. And this kind of thing shouldn't happen.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Governor Mike DeWine says federal and state authorities are setting up a medical clinic for East Palestine residents experiencing symptoms they think could be a result from exposure. Medical services will also be provided. DeWine says testing shows water supply is safe, but those with private wells should drink bottled water for now. 13 people were taken to hospitals this afternoon after an explosion at a medical alloy factory in the Dayton, Ohio area. A large smoke cloud filled the sky and debris was scattered around the area after the explosion and fire. Firefighters are still working to put out hot spots. In addition to the 13 people taken to the hospitals, another person was treated at the scene. At least one of the 13 was in critical condition and several had burns. All the workers at the I. Schuneman and Company building near Oakwood have been accounted for. There's no word yet on the cause of the blast and the resulting fire. The West Virginia Department of Environment Protection releases new information regarding a small earthquake from over the weekend. The earthquake happened near the Ohio and West Virginia border, and no damages have been reported from the quake. The 2.6 magnitude earthquake hit the region Friday afternoon. WOWK reports the epicenter's location was documented near Point Pleasant and was also felt here in Athens. It's a little bit warmer today, but will these conditions last? Marissa has a first look at this week's weather.
Thank you, Brenna. Yes, temperatures are unusually warm, continuing this unusual warmth for February here. Today it got to a high about 57 degrees. We are seeing some clouds roll in. It was a nice day for the most part, though. It was pretty sunny and pleasant outside. As those clouds are rolling in, though, it does look like there is a chance of rain coming in. Temperatures are going to drop later tonight to below about 41 degrees. Right now it's about 56 degrees, mostly cloudy outside, and what's going to be happening here is around 8 o'clock tonight, there is going to be some rain showers coming in. And what we can kind of see on the local radar here, for the most part, for most of the day we were clear. Now we are seeing that rain kind of come towards us, and we will see that here soon. Temperatures around us have been very warm in this region. 56 right now in Athens, 55 in Parkersburg, and 50 degrees in Lancaster. The temperature is going to continue to stay warm, and I am going to talk about that on my full weather forecast. Now to you, Olivia, at the desk.
Thank you, Marissa. A bill listed as top priority by Ohio House Speaker Jason Stephens would institute a 2.75 flat tax and would eliminate the state's 10% property tax deduction that's been in place for 50 years. Local governments and school districts are estimated to lose $1.2 billion annually. That money would instead go to the state's cost of flattening the income tax. But Stephens says districts, parks, libraries, and other services always have levies. The Republican leader also says the state may replace that money, which has happened with tax changes in other budgets, but often is sustained over time. A bill would give new rules on voting precincts consolidating in West Virginia. The bill would increase the maximum number of voters that can be served in an urban voting precinct from 1,500 to 2,500. Currently, only precincts within a 1-mile radius can be combined, but if passed, the new bill would increase the distance to 5 miles. The proposal was pushed forward by the State Senate Judiciary Committee last week. County officials requested the new bill for voter convenience and to save money on poll workers and machines.
Biden takes a secret detour from his trip to Poland to meet with the Ukrainian president. And another deadly shooting last night in New Orleans. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
We are at Adena Mansion and Gardens. This is where Ohio history began. They're in their writing talking all night long about what they wanted Ohio to be. What type of state did they want Ohio to be? They wrote the Constitution, came out and saw the sun coming up over the Mount Logan Range. That is the inspiration for the Great Seal of Ohio.
From Carnegie Hall, two sensational divas got together to sing spirituals. Kathleen Battle and Jesse Norman.
When I think of a spiritual, I think of hope.
Everyone could feel what a moment it was.
Enjoy how Kathleen Battle and Jesse Norman made history through the magic of spirituals on Great Performances.
Friday at 9 on WOUB.
Coming up on the next Song of the Mountains.
Winchester Road is just a stretch down the county line. That old road can take you back to another time. When I go all bluegrass on you.
Lively performances where old tradition meets new here on Song of the Mountains.
Thursday at 8 on WOUB.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, antiques are the gifts that keep on giving.
I think that there was a lot of effort and thought that went into this gift for your family.
I don't know if she was surprised or not that I picked it out, but she varnished it and let me have it as a gift.
She gave it to you?
She gave it to me
as a present.
gift.
My mom got it for me for Christmas.
Well, it was a lovely gift, and you have a great eye.
It's Antiques Roadshow, next time from Cheekwood Estate and Gardens in Nashville.
Monday at 8 on WOUB.
President Joe Biden arrived in Ukraine's capital city today to meet with President Volodymyr Zelensky.
The trip was a secret detour from the president's planned visit to Poland, set to begin tomorrow. Laura Aguirre has more on the visit and the message President Biden sends to Moscow.
Russia's aim was to wipe Ukraine off the map. Putin's war of conquest is failing.
President Joe Biden calling out Russia's Vladimir Putin during a surprise visit to Ukraine Monday. Traveling in near secrecy, President Biden's arrival in Kyiv comes just days before the one-year anniversary of Russia's invasion.
1 year later, Kyiv stands, and Ukraine stands. Democracy stands.
Despite being in an active war zone, the two world leaders talked while walking outside, air raid sirens ringing out. In a visit to St. Michael's Cathedral, the presidents each laid a wreath for Ukraine's fallen soldiers. The entire trip highly symbolic, President Biden wanting to make it clear to his Russian counterpart that the U.S. and Ukraine will not be divided.
He's counting on us not sticking together. He thought he could outlast us. I don't think he's thinking that right now.
The U.S. pledge of support includes further sanctions on Russia and an aid package worth $500 million, but not the F-16 fighter jets that Ukraine has been asking for. The president is hoping to thread the needle between all-out provocation with Russia and committing American support for Ukraine.
We're going to be with you, Mr. President, for as long as it takes.
We'll do it.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
This U.S. display of unity with Ukraine comes at a critical time in the 12-month conflict, with Russia expected to launch a spring offensive and Ukraine planning to retake some Russian-occupied territory. President Biden is now in Poland for a planned 2-day visit with the Polish president. A Louisiana teen is dead after a shooting yesterday night along a Mardi Gras parade route. New Orleans police says a suspect is in custody, but there is no word yet on their identity. 4 others were left injured. They were treated at a local hospital and then released. New Orleans Police Chief Michelle Woodfork recounted what happened at a press conference today.
Officers quickly responded to those gunshots in the area where they arrived on the scene and saw approximately 4 to 5 victims of this shooting. Unfortunately, a male between the ages of 15 to 18 years old, we have not identified him yet, expired at the hospital.
The motive for the shooting is still unclear. The shooting comes as Mardi Gras celebration begins tomorrow in New Orleans.
The U.S. Supreme Court is set to hear back-to-back oral arguments this week, which could change online speech and content. The cases Gonzalez versus Google and Twitter versus Tamina takes a look at whether tech platforms and social media companies can be sued for recommending content to their users. Justices will also look at lawsuits concerning the support of international terrorism by hosting terrorist content. Part of the Communications Decency Act has repeatedly protected tech platforms from lawsuits over user-generated content, but has come under scrutiny recently as companies make decisions about content moderation. Rulings in these cases are expected by the end of June. In other meta news, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram is announcing a new verification system today. The company is testing a subscription service which allows users to get a check by their name. The service will cost about $12 a month on the web and about $15 on iOS. Signing up comes with extra protection from impersonation accounts and direct access to customer support. Meta says it's releasing the service in Australia and New Zealand this week, and it plans on doing so in more countries soon. The company joins other platforms who have their own subscription-based models. Millions of Americans provide unpaid support to an adult. After the break, we'll have tips for taking care of your loved ones.
Rain is expected on your forecast tonight. How will that affect your morning commute? Stick around for my full weather forecast to find out. In the meantime, feel free to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
WOUB is recognizing members of our Cornerstone Society. The Cornerstone Society is a group that wants to ensure the future of public media in our region. It includes people across our area who value news, entertainment, and cultural programming, as well as the educational services WOUB provides. Also included are graduates of Ohio University who took part in the WOUB Student Professional Development Program. Thanks to the Cornerstone Society for their generous support. To learn how you can be involved, email woub@woub.org.
It's part of who I am. On Finding Your Roots, Jay Johnson. It's the American story. And Angela Davis.
This is something I never expected to discover.
An unexpected family arrangement. I can't undo it. I won't disavow it. And DNA rocks the boat.
No.
Your ancestors came on the Mayflower.
No.
Finding Your Roots. New episode February 21st on PBS and the PBS app.
The press said it's gangster rap.
On back-to-back episodes of Fight the Power.
People like Queen Latifah cut through the noise to demand that women have a space at the table in ways that they hadn't before.
Hip-hop was taken over all over the world. When you got power, then comes responsibility. What you gonna do with it?
Back-to-back episodes, Tuesday starting at 9, 8 Central on PBS and the PBS app.
We are at Adena Mansion and Gardens. This is where Ohio history began. They're in their writing talking all night long about what they wanted Ohio to be. What type of state did they want Ohio to be? They wrote the Constitution, came out and saw the sun coming up over the Mount Logan Range. That is the inspiration for the Great Seal of Ohio.
Welcome back to Newswatch. Now, to continue that trend with unusually warm weather in this month of February, today we reached a high of about 57 degrees outside. It was nice. It was slightly breezy. We did see a little bit of clouds, but we did also see some sun. We are right now seeing some more clouds kind of come in though, and with that, it does look like there is going to be some rain coming in with that. Right now it's 56 degrees, mostly cloudy, a little bit of breezy. Looking at the radar, we can see for most of the day today, we had been rain-free. However, this rain from the west is coming in here, and we are going to be feeling that for tonight. Now, it is going to drop to about 41 degrees tonight as the rain kind of comes through. However, tomorrow, though, that rain is going to clear up for the morning, so you aren't going to have very wet roads in the morning for your morning commute. It's going to warm up actually to be about 53 degrees outside, and as the day goes on, we are actually going to be able to see some sun peek through as well. Now, going in through the night, it is going to drop to about a low about 33 degrees. Now, what's going to be happening tomorrow is that we are going to be seeing kind of more of a cold front kind of come through, but out in the west here is a high pressure system. And so as we see some clouds in the morning, this high pressure system is going to come through, and that's going to clear up our day to have a pretty relatively nice, pleasant, mild day tomorrow. Looking for the next few days, though, the temperatures just continue to go up. Tomorrow, 53 is the high. Wednesday, high of 63 degrees. It is going to be very rainy for the entire day, basically. Morning, afternoon, and evening, we'll see some rain showers. So unfortunately, that is going to be a pretty dreary and humid day as well. However, Thursday, high of 76 degrees. But then you look, and a low of 29 degrees. So while for the most part it's going to be a beautiful day outside, 76 as the high, what is going to be happening is that we're going to be seeing this warm front kind of come through. It's going to be nice for most of the day. However, behind that out in the west is a cold front instead, and that is going to come by and sweep away that warm front. So we will be seeing quite a dramatic change of temperatures there. Friday, that high is only going to be about 43 degrees as the high. That low is going to drop, so it's going to be much chillier on Friday as it was compared to that Thursday. That rain is staying away, though, for those 2 days. However, as the weekend kind of comes in, that rain does come back. Temperatures are going to continue to warm up as the weekend kind of goes on, though. So we are going to again start seeing that trend of warm temperatures coming back. Saturday, a high of 48 with a low of about 36 degrees. Sunday, a high of 54, low of 28. And Monday, about a high of 53 with a low of 25. And that is all the time I have from my full weather forecast.
Thanks, Marissa. Millions of people provide unpaid care to an adult in the U.S., and research suggests that number has skyrocketed over the years.
Mandy Gaither has ways to support someone who is taking care of a loved one.
It can be a challenging role and one that's absolutely necessary, but being a caregiver isn't always easy.
Their role is 24/7. They often receive very little break.
A 2020 report that comes out every 5 years shows nearly 1 in 5 people in the U.S. are providing unpaid care to an adult with health or functional needs. The data shows 23% of caregivers report finding it difficult to care for their own health and finances. 45% have said they've suffered at least one financial impact because of caring for another.
In cases of dementia caregiving, the journey can be especially long, and with that can come increased chronic stress and greater responsibility.
Clinical psychologist Lucille Carrier with Cleveland Clinic says we can support caregivers by talking to them about their needs. If possible, offer help, whether it's a break or time away from their duties.
Self-care can come in a lot of different forms.
And it's crucial for caregivers. Carrier says they often find it hard to carve out time for themselves, but she says to start small.
Maybe we take just a few minutes for a walk, or maybe we call a friend, or maybe you turn on a mindfulness app and practice a little bit of relaxation.
Carrier says those small changes can make a big difference in a caregiver's life. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The psychologist says caregivers should take advantage of the resources available to them, including helplines and centers, working with their loved one's medical team, or talking with a mental health service.
President's Day is meant to commemorate the birthdays of both George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, but it turns out only one of them is officially celebrated at the federal level. Chris Wynn is in Washington breaking down this federal holiday.
It's President's Day.
During our President's Day,
That 3-day weekend synonymous with sales.
President's Day mattress. It's kind of a lull in the retail industry. This gives them an opportunity to offload clearance stuff.
The best deals often found on big ticket items.
There's mattresses, the washing machines, the fridges, cars, furniture. And there's that extra day so consumers have a little extra time to think about those purchases.
But President's Day wasn't always a retail holiday.
It was traditional in British America to celebrate the King's birthday. And so after the American independence, celebrating George Washington became the way that people celebrated their nation.
Washington's birthday, February 22nd, became a federal holiday in 1879, but it was a 1968 law that made it what it is today.
They passed the Uniform Monday Federal Holidays Act really as a business effort to support business growth. And President's Day came to mean sort of all presidents, and in many cases, it's represented like that in popular culture. But in fact, it still is officially Washington's birthday in the federal code. It gives
Doug Bradburn of George Washington's Mount Vernon says it's important to mark the Founding Fathers' legacy.
Well, George Washington does, I think, deserve a federal moment for people to think back on the sacrifices that were critical to the creation of our nation, which Washington called the Great Experiment.
And high school's got the holiday off, so which teams are celebrating the long weekend with a sectional title? The latest on high school hoops is coming up in sports. And be sure to stay tuned to WOUB. Have a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
The press said it's gangster rap.
On back-to-back episodes of Fight the Power.
People like Queen Latifah cut through the noise to demand that women have a space at the table in ways that they hadn't before.
Hip-hop was taken over all over the world. When you got power, then comes responsibility. What you gonna do with it?
Back-to-back episodes, Tuesday starting at 9, 8 Central on PBS and the PBS app.
What does it take to be a wild dog in our modern world? Right now, dedicated people are going to extraordinary lengths to find out.
The American red wolf is actually on the brink of extinction.
It's time to take a fresh look at this amazing family and get closer than ever before to dogs in the wild.
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
The James Webb Space Telescope.
Think about it as a telescope that enables us to see the hidden universe.
Its mission is only beginning.
We're just tapping into those abilities.
Is there an Earth 2.0 out there?
When you have new eyes, you discover new things. With Webb, we're discovering a new universe.
It's just amazing.
New eye on the universe on Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
On Secrets of the Dead, the most significant Viking grave ever found.
This is perhaps the most spectacular burial in this whole field. It doesn't just have weapons, it has all the weapons.
Everything you need to be a professional warrior. And we now know that this warrior was actually a woman.
Viking Warrior Queen on Secrets of the Dead.
Wednesday at 10 on WOUB.
Welcome back to Newswatch. I'm Dylan Tyson, and the playoffs are upon us for high school hoops. Let's waste no time. We start with the Athens Bulldogs. The first TBC boys team to play in this year's postseason, but they're also going to be the first ones out. It's one and done for the Bulldogs, who couldn't close out a halftime lead at home against Hillsborough. Head coach Mickey Cozart says that's been the theme all year, second half struggles. As for the rest of the boys teams, they'll begin their tournament runs this week, starting tonight. And now for the girls, who of course they started their campaigns last week, and 8 teams remained heading into the weekend. So, how many made it out? We start with Megs. They traveled to Portsmouth as the 17 seed to take on the 8 seed, and this one was closer than you might expect all the way until the final buzzer, when Megs junior Andrea Marr had a chance to win it from beyond the arc, but it's knocked down by Sienna Allen, and talk about a performance by the freshman. 34 points for Allen in the win, not to mention, of course, the game-winning block. 25 miles away now in Lawrence County, Fedhawks Lady Lancers couldn't shake the turnover bug against Rock Hill. They were down just 5 points at the end of the first quarter, but proceeded to get outscored 39-12 the rest of the night. Their season ends abruptly in the sectional finals. But rejoice, TVC fans, the Lady Buckeyes swoop in to save the day. NY came out hot against Cold Grove and never looked back. Though the Hornets rallied back to a 4-point deficit in the final minutes, the Buckeyes earned their first sectional title in 4 years on Saturday night. TVC champs, sectional champs, and now districts up next. Nelsonville York is just one of the 5 girls teams still dancing in the postseason. They're joined by TVC Ohio runner-ups Athens, who play tonight, and the top 3 finishers in the Hocking division. All right, so let's take it up a notch and talk Bobcats hoops. The women's team played in the Convo Saturday afternoon and got a much-needed 83-75 win against Central Michigan. The Bobcats have now won 3 of their last 6 after starting the season 3-19. Yaya Felder continued to shine with 29 points, but it's freshman Jaya McClure who stood out, notching 28 points in her first career start with Ohio. Head coach Bob Bolden says he felt that it was her time to step up. Matter of time before she was ready. Now, the rest of the Bobcat teams hit the road this weekend, and they each saw equally as much success. Let's start with the men's basketball team, who also took down Central Michigan this weekend. They got out to a slow start, down 12-0 in the first 5 minutes, but they battled back for their 5th straight win. And 5 Bobcats finished with double figures in scoring. That's been a key to their recent success. On the rink now, Ohio hockey splits the series with Liberty, their first split on the road since October 29th. On Friday, it was 2 goals from Laker Aldridge that kept things close with the Flames, but Ohio fell short in overtime. But on Saturday, goalkeeper Justin Damon was a wall, saving 48 of 50 shots on the goal in the 4-2 victory. But the marquee win of the weekend, Ohio baseball's in the win column, and they hit it out of the park, taking down Navy 27-9. Yeah, you heard me right. MAC Player of the Week, Alec Patino, headlined the contest with 7 RBIs. The junior first baseman added more over the weekend to tally 11 on the year, which means the Bobcats go 4 for 4 on Saturday. And hey, shout out to Wendy's.
And how about that baseball team? How's it looking?
Man, that is a tough team. They're going to be fun to watch down the stretch.
Yeah, especially with the weather warming up soon, it's going to be nice to get outside and, hopefully watch them dominate this spring.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna toss it over to Marissa to see how that weather's going to hold up.
We had a really nice day outside today. Temperatures are dropping tonight, though, to about an overnight low of 41 degrees as that rain does come in throughout the night. So it is definitely going to cool off quite a bit. Looking ahead at tomorrow's temperatures, the high is going to be about 53 degrees. The rain is going to clear up, and it's going to be pretty sunny for most of your day. And then the temperature is going to drop to about 33 degrees for tomorrow night. Looking at the week ahead, we can see that the temperatures continue to warm up all the way until Thursday, where there is incredibly warm temperatures of 76 degrees, where then it drops quite dramatically, almost a 50-degree drop to 29 degrees overnight, and then it continues to remain cold kind of for the rest of the week, where it gradually climbs those temperatures once again, and then the rain starts for the evening. That is all I have for my final weather. Now back to the desk.
And our final story tonight, the National Park Service is set to build a new addition underneath the Lincoln Memorial to pay tribute to the monument's civil rights history. It plans to feature exhibits and presentations highlighting the history of the monument as a backdrop for civil rights demonstrations throughout histories. The $69 million project was first announced in 2016. The memorial is expected to remain open throughout construction. They plan to start in March and be completed in 2026, ahead of the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Olivia Roman.
And for all of us at Newswatch, I'm Brenna Nye. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.
Support comes from Help Me Grow, providing home visiting, helping pregnant mothers and parents tackle the big and little challenges of being a parent. Home visiting professionals listen, answer questions, provide resources, and help parents and their babies stay happy and healthy. More at helpmegrow.org.